What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. And yes, the onslaught of Talking Jets with Tigo content continues. Like I said, guys, I'm really trying to up my YouTube game and really get this thing going. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So a lot of Jets content coming. Guys, if you aren't subscribed and you want to be a part of the newest, greatest movement, New York Jets movement on YouTube, I am really overselling this. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers before the bye week. We are 200 away. So help me get there. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with any of the Jets fans that you know. It would really, really help. But today, let's talk about two good things, two bad things, two ugly things, and two absolutely great things that we saw from the New York Jets against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's start with good thing number one. And I think for me, it has to be Mike LaFleur's play calling. The creativity that we saw from him, the different personnel packages that we saw from him, just all of the things that we were able to see from Mike LaFleur and his play calling against the Pittsburgh Steelers really reminded me why I had so much confidence in him at the end of last year. He was really able to open up the playbook that now that we had Zach, and he was really able to make up for a lot of the bad offensive line play that we saw this last game with the fact that we had Zach's mobility. RPOs now became an option. Like, we had different things, and his play calling definitely stood out as a good thing coming out of that game. Good thing number two for me has to be the combination of young edge rushers Jermaine Johnson and Bryce Huff. While Bryce Huff wasn't as good as Jermaine was, and I'll talk about Jermaine in a second, Bryce Huff definitely, in my opinion, earned his spot to be on this team as one of the activated edge rushers against the Miami Dolphins. He really, really played well and was disruptive, got into the backfield, and even though he wasn't credited with any pressures or QB hits or anything like that, he was making life uncomfortable for tackles and quarterbacks all game, having to have the quarterback step up into Quinnen Williams' pressure and Sheldon Rankin's pressure and different things like that. So you really, really I liked what I saw from Bryce Huff, but more importantly, I really liked what I saw from Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson put his name on the map and really told this coaching staff, give me more reps. He logged a sack, and it was a great sack, came around the edge of the right tackle. But not just that, he forced this Pittsburgh Steelers offense to run the ball the opposite way of wherever he was. If he was on the right side and on the field and they were running the ball, they alerted, they ran to the other side. They did everything in their power to avoid Jermaine Johnson in the run game because they knew that he was beating up and bullying their right tackle. Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff, definitely two good things that happened against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's move on to the bad, and I think the first bad that I have to talk about is C.J. Mosley. C.J., unfortunately, and I don't know if it's age, if it's scheme, if it's something's not clicking, maybe he's hurt or something's lingering, but C.J. just isn't living up to, one, the contract, but two, to the level of play that he was playing at last year. He's kind of not doing good things in coverage. When it comes to coming downhill and tackling, yes, he's involved in a lot of tackles, but he's like missing on like being the first tackler there. He's not playing with that same spunk or chutzpah or whatever word you want to use that he was playing with last year, which doesn't make sense. You're on a better defensive unit. I don't know what it is, and I hope that CJ can turn it around, but definitely got to have CJ on the bad side here. And then the other thing that I have on the bad side, again coming from the defense, is unfortunately is Jacob Martin. Jacob Martin has been bad for the New York Jets edge room. He just isn't living up to what we saw from him in Houston on a much, much worse team. Jacob Martin is known for getting into the backfield and having really good pass rush moves, and he just really isn't being effective for the New York Jets. If it was me, I am elevating Bryce Huff for the Miami game, and I am benching Jacob Martin just to try to see if this can spark something in Jacob Martin, because I really like Martin. I want him to be involved in this team. I also want Huff to be involved on this team, but you need to figure out something to get a spark, to get it to click with Jacob Martin so that he can step up into that gear that we know that he can play and that we've seen him play at Houston. Now let's move on to the ugly, and I think the first ugly everybody's going to know has to be the offensive line. And I'm not saying that the offensive line is playing like horribly. It's that's not what it is. I'm more talking about the fact that we seem to continue to not be able to stay healthy on the offensive line, and that's leading to ugly play from the offensive line. People keep bringing up Laken Tomlinson, but did you know that every single game this year, Laken Tomlinson has had a different left tackle? Week 1, it was George Fant, and then week 2 is partly George Fant, and then Connor McDermott comes in. Week 3, it's just he's had a different left tackle every single game, and you can't blame him. Moving Elijah Vera Tucker from the right side to the left side, you can't blame him. We need to start seeing some consistency from the offensive line. That starts from players getting healthy. You hope that Max Mitchell's injury isn't something long-term. I think it's a high ankle sprain and that he should be back in a couple of weeks. But we need to see more consistency from the offensive line in the sense of health so that we can start to get consistent play from this offensive line. The second ugly thing that we saw from the Pittsburgh Steelers game is these penalties and these stupid mistakes over and over and over again. We see the New York Jets put themselves in winning positions and make that position harder and harder and harder with stupid penalties. We should have been leading going into the half easily 13, 16, 19 points, but because of stupid mistakes that we were seeing from the offense and from the defense, we kept taking away opportunities to score. We kept taking away opportunities to move the ball, and we kept taking away opportunities like turnovers. We got an interception turned over because of a late hit on a quarterback. We got touchdowns taken away because of bad play from our offensive linemen. Penalties and mistakes. These little things need to step down. This is on the coaches. We need to get better at that so that we can take advantage of the fact that our games and stuff so that we can win our games. Now let's end the video on two absolutely great things. I think the first thing, and this is the biggest turnaround from this series, and I think it's going to be the biggest turnaround. Someone went from being in the ugly category last week to the great category this week, and that has to be Lamarcus Joyner, in my opinion, the MVP of the defense. You're talking about 6 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, directly caused another interception. Lamarcus Joyner was everywhere on the field, and to turn it around and to be able to go from being absolutely ostracized by everybody on the New York Jets in fan base, media, and everything like that, to shutting everybody up, absolutely a great player for us yesterday. And then the last one is going to have to be Zach Wilson. Specifically is going to have to be Zach Wilson in the fourth quarter, in those last 2 drives, 10 of 12, 130-ish yards, a touchdown throw. The kid, great quarterbacks are made in the last 2 minutes of NFL games when they take the game into their own hands and they go and end it. That's what Zach Wilson did. He went and he took this game away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a 92-ish% chance to win this game, and Zach Wilson said, 90, I don't care. I'm winning this game. We're marching down the field. We're scoring a touchdown. Guys, let me know what you thought about that last game. What did you think was good? What did you think was bad? What did you think was ugly? Did you think there was anything great? Let me know in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.